event started right here in Phoenix, Arizona. We've been blowing up and growing ever since. So we support the community. We support the artist marketplace, the artist community, and all of the spirits out there that just want better, want to do better, ready for more. So my question to you is, are you ready for more? Are you ready to do better? What are you doing about your dreams? Do you even know what your dreams are, or are you just a character playing in somebody else's dream? Worse yet, are you a character in somebody's nightmare, maybe yours? So let's find out what it is you want to do. What's your passions? So I talk to people all the time on this show about their passions, how they got there, what were their struggles, what help them get over those particular struggles. What is it now? Was it worth it? All of that good stuff. And we end up talking about a lot of social issues and different things that's going on in the community as well. And most importantly, we have a good time while we do it. So I'm very, very, very blessed, very honored and excited to have somebody I deem a great friend, a brother of mine. You're going to hear us insult each other because, like, we're really brothers, you know what I mean? And so we're going to talk bad about each other because that's what brothers do. But this cat, really ton of respect for him. He's built an amazing institution called Mother's Favorite Child, man, an amazing band. This guy's a producer, does great things. I've watched him put individuals together and make beautiful art out of it. Albums are incredible. We've even did some albums together with HomeBase Poetry that he produced as well. So just an amazing talent. Worked with all of the biggest names. Right now, currently working on some great projects with CeCe Peniston. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. But I got to give it up to my man, originally from Boston and New York City. I want you all to give a round of applause at your table, wherever you watching this at, on the bus stop. Go ahead and give it up for my man, Paris Toon. In the house. Paris.
What up, H?
What up, boy? How you doing?
I'm doing good today.
Good, man. Thanks for coming to spend some time. You know, it's a process to drag you out from behind those computers and all that work you be doing in the studio. So thank you. That's dope. I appreciate it. So I'm telling the people good stuff about you, who you are, all that goodness. You tell them who you are. Give us a little bit about your background.
My name is Paris Toon, and I have a group called Mother's Favorite Child, which actually a few days ago was our 17th anniversary. It's a collective, so I use different musicians and vocalists every album or, various projects. I originated from Boston and moved to Brooklyn in the 90s.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. The
BK.
And that's where Mother's Favorite Child was really born. Before that, I was a ghost producer for hip-hop out of Boston, but for New York rappers. And then when I got to New York, I heard a cat by the name of Omar from the UK, and at that time I was working with some people that were into the neo soul movement, and I decided that that's really what I wanted to do. And then I created Mother's Favorite Child, and we were birthed in Brooklyn, and then our first show was in Boston 17 years ago.
Dope. Hence the song you got, Brooklyn Baby.
Brooklyn Baby, yes.
Brooklyn Baby's dope.
The remix comes out this year, and it features Talib Kweli. So real excited about that because, we used to play ball together, and now we're actually, on the tracks together. So it's a good thing.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So you got a background with some amazing artists. First, tell us, because that's a really cool Mother's Favorite Child. Everybody think that applies to them. You may not be the favorite one of your mother's kids. I'm just saying. But everybody think that applies to them. Mother's Favorite Child, how did you come up with that name? And then tell us a little bit about some of the artists you worked with.
It's funny. Mother's Favorite Child actually came from a poem that I wrote in a journal. So at the time when I was transitioning from hip-hop to neo soul or R&B soul, I needed to come up with a name, and I was having trouble. And so we were doing shows under a different name, and a guy by the name of Raheem Baraka owned a merchandise company where he makes merchandise for all the labels. And he said, well, what are some of the names you're coming up with for your band? And because he had known me from hip hop, and I said, I don't know. I said, I got this fat bottom lip thing that I want to do that's funk, and then I have I was thinking about Mother's Favorite Child, and he said, if you do Mother's Favorite Child, I will give you a deal right now before your record's even out, and I will have T-shirts made up before your record's out. And that's what we did, and then we had sold more T-shirts before our CD even came out. In the night of our show, CD release party, we sold a ton of T-shirts along with the CD, and people were buying our shirts and didn't even hear our music because they just wanted to stand in front of their brother or sister.
Mother's favorite child.
So it worked out.
Nice. Now I know you did something with the whole Fat Bottom Lip movement thing too.
Yeah, I did an EP, and we actually had done some of the songs at a HomeBase Poetry show.
Right.
And one of the singles was featured Tiny TA, and it made the Billboard charts number 10. And then we did something for Vaughn Willis, who I had met through the HomeBase Poetry, and his single went number 4. So that's why every time I do a new single, I've got to do it at HomeBase Poetry.
There he is.
It's good luck.
Look, I'm telling you, HomeBase Poetry, we're making stars out of these people. You know what I mean? Paris, you're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Get checks in the mail.
Right, exactly. So you don't hit Billboard just because of random things. I mean, you work with some great artists. You've done some good stuff. What is it about your music? And name some of the artists you worked with so people, because you know what I mean? I know they was like, oh, man, Talib Kweli. Because I'm sure a lot of people probably is still discovering you, even though they all know all the people you've worked with. So who are some of the people you worked with, and what makes your music special?
Well, I think as far as the music is concerned, because I'm behind the scenes, I'm not the guy in front of the camera or anything like that. But I work with some of the best musicians in the country because Mother's Favorite Child is more of a collective movement of live musicianship. Got it. So that's what makes my music different than the current standard top 40 music. It's all programmed, whereas I work with musicians to create a sound. Okay. So every time I do a new project, it's new people, so it's a new color of sound and a new feel. So as far as musicians, a lot of people don't know musicians, but we have people like John Blackwell, who played for Prince for 15 years. Yeah. Charles Haynes, who played for Lauryn Hill, Michelle Ndegeocello, Lady Gaga. Yeah. So most of the musicians that I use have played for the most iconic, and a lot of them who are now MDs, like for Chris Brown or Tony Braxton. And so it's just my thing is the celebrities are the musicians. Now, of course, and time out.
They're MDs. Music directors.
Yes.
Okay. Not medical. Not medical doctor.
Medical.
Well, all right. I mean, you go into the jargon, brother. I'm like, MD for real?
Yeah.
They're doing surgeries too?
They're doing it all of it.
Man.
So not only are they music directors, they're actually MDs as well.
They're actually surgeons.
They got TV shows as being doctors as well. Yeah,
there is.
All that.
And origami special. I mean, it's amazing. You should see what they do. It's awesome.
So that's pretty much what Mother's Favorite Child is. I write the lyrics, co-write with some of the melody makers and the musicians, and then we've just been doing it for 17 years and it works. And the reason I have to do it that way is because a lot of these musicians are not available because they're on tour with people like Lauryn Hill and I. Right. So that's why we
got to be a kind of a rotating field, right?
Yeah. And you don't want it to get boring either. Bands break up every week. So this allows me to continuously keep the relationship going.
And keep some consistency, because 17 years is a long time. That's some serious consistency.
It is a long time.
Right? So that's awesome. I mean, that's pretty fresh the way you put that together and the whole nine. Because you've worked with so many musicians, you've dealt with the good and bad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? And also the ups and downs of career as well. I'm really interested in hearing about some of that. So we're going to take a little break. Short break, get with our sponsors, and then we'll come back and let's explore that aspect.
No doubt.
Cool? All right. We'll be right back with Paris Toon, Mother's Favorite Child. This is Conversations with HB.
Yeah, you pronounce my name, Ali. Any questions? I bring many blessings with my man High Tech, and he from the Natty. We make the sky crash, feel the fly trap. Get your hands up like a hijack, fists in the air for Ali. Keep them there like natural mystic or smoke when it's a revolutionary. They ask me what I'm writing for. I'm writing to show you what we fighting for. Say Talib and Talib. If it's hard, try spelling it phonetically. If not, then just let it be like Nina Simone. You probably don't listen, B. Even when we suffer losses, I count the victory. Sometimes it's far in between. I'm sad to say you got my brain crowded like sunset on a Saturday. I know my son wept cause his dad's away. Stop crying, be strong for your mama is what I had to say to my little man named Amani. Start the party, my crew hot, feel these I like the blast from a shotty. It's got to be the man high tech and Quality who make you rock your body. Start the party, my crew hot, feel these I like the blast from a shotty. It's got to be the man high tech and Quality.
I remember when it all started. Back in the day when me and mom first party. High tech from the beginning, I stayed advanced. A young chameleon, adapt to any circumstance. Peak game, never been a lazy. Stayed on my hustle, concentrate to get the paper bigger. Stay focused, while other cats stay hopeless. While stay high, I stay lower. Stacking my to get a full closure. This shit ain't over. Going for the gusto, keep getting that Provo. It's high tech, on the track like Flojo. Bet you ain't even know I had flow though.
Yo, make you rock your body. Start the party, my crew hot, feel these I like the blast from a shotty. It's got to be the man high tech and Quality.
All right, we're back. HB Conversations with HB with my man Paris Toon, right? So, you know, I've known you, man. How long we known each other? 4? Has it been 4?
Since 2012, at least, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
5 years,
like
4 or
5
5
years,
years, yeah.
right? Yeah. So, know each other kids and the whole shebang. And the cool thing about really getting to know somebody is that you get to see the ups and the downs. And you get to see the lefts and the rights. And I know your story, and I know, you know, how it began and all that good stuff. But share it with the people because you got some strong stuff going on. So, matter of fact, tell us what's exciting you have going on right now, and then tell us the ups and downs. Because people usually see the exciting part.
Yeah.
It's the ups and downs that they don't see. Is that, you know, it's a roller coaster. And you a single dad with 4 kids, 4 beautiful, smart, brilliant, 3 girls, 1 boy. So, you know, talk to me a little bit about the exciting stuff you got going on right now, and then we'll dive into the ups and downs.
March 9th, I have a show coming up in Memphis at the Cannon Center through Memphis Live. And I'm really excited about that because I've brought in some of the cats that played for Mother's Favorite Child 12 years ago that are now touring with like the biggest acts in the country, Justin Timberlake, you know, Jill Scott. And so now this show is going to be with Mother's Favorite Child. They're playing for Mother's Favorite Child. And so I'm really excited about that because it's almost like a reunion, you know,
right.
a big family reunion. We have a new album coming out, 11/11 on November 11th. We have a single dropping, actually featuring Vaughn Willis, as well as some other Arizona artists, and Saida Wright, who was part of the New Power Generation, you know, and Prince. So I'm really excited about this year for those things, as well as CeCe Peniston, the queen of house music. We just produced a single called Reflections of a Disco Ball, which drops in the next 2 months that, you know, she's doing for her album. So those are the new things that I'm excited about.
Dope.
As far as the ups and the downs, you know, that's just life. You know, as far as the music industry, it changes with technology, so you have to kind of be ahead of the game. And working with so many different musicians, you have to get to know their personalities fairly quick, or what works, what doesn't work. Because, you know, when you're in a band for 10 years and it's the same band members, you know that person. Bro,
that's leadership, man. Yeah. You talking about moving players in and out for 17 years.
And trying
them
to get
a lot of personalities, a lot of things to maneuver to make them come together and create some good art.
Yeah.
And so that's some serious leadership skills. You know
so,
what I mean?
You know, and I've learned, you know, because when I got into music, it was all about being like Prince and James Brown as far as like how they did it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work for everyone.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I've learned, that there are some people, especially coming from the East Coast, we have a certain mentality. Coming out to Arizona, they don't really deal with the you know, with the same vibe as well. So I try to make sure that I treat everybody differently.
No, hold up. So that's his way of saying that he don't know how to talk to people sometimes, and they don't know how to deal with it.
No, I know how to talk to people. They don't know how to deal with me talking to them.
They don't know how to receive the conversation.
They don't know how to receive it. They don't know how to receive the truth.
It's all them. It's all them. Yeah, of course.
So the one thing for me, I always make it about the music first.
For sure.
And a lot of times people don't, especially if they're new, they don't really understand because you're kind of pushing them away, like as far as like saying, like I've been in this, I know, and they have what they want to give as input. And when you get to a point where it's like, this blueprint has worked, trust me on this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't.
Because there's money on the line. It's investors, it's investment. We can't just, play with these people's money on what you think is happening.
You can't do that. The other thing is, even more so than money, what I've learned later on is time. When you give up your time for your family, that time goes away. You realize that there's no money that can get that back. So there comes a point where it's not just about the money. It's about the sacrifices that other people are allowing you to give for your dreams and for your success.
Yo, that's a huge thing that you just said. The sacrifices others are allowing you to give. Because a lot of time we think about our sacrifices just like it's coming from us. But when you take time away, you're taking time away from your kids, especially, like I said, a single dad of 4, small kids at the time. They've grown into, beautiful young teenagers now. But when you give your time up, you're not just giving your time, you're giving their time up with their daddy. You're giving up all kind of stuff, and your family plays a role in that. So it got to be on point. Don't give it up for nothing.
No.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And I retired from the music industry for 4 years. And it was the best thing that happened for me because it allowed me to kind of energize. Because at that point, I didn't like where the industry was going. The lyrics didn't matter. Melodies didn't matter. Music didn't matter. And because I stayed true to what I do, it all comes back. This stuff happening with Trump.
Yeah,
it's absolutely,
and insane.
And I'm selling more records because I'm not talking about nonsense.
Right.
And it seems that sometimes people want to be a little bit more deep.
Absolutely.
And they realize that maybe just being ignorant and listening to Drop It, you know what I mean? Like it's hard, or all those things every single day for the rest of your life. It's why we're losing elections.
I mean, I like chips as much as the next man, but I can't have potato chips for breakfast, lunch,
and dinner. You can't do it.
It's like, give me some substance. I need some vegetables, man.
So I think you'll start to see, a difference in, not so much a difference in the artist, but I think a difference in the industry accepting artists with substance now.
I could believe that because, all right, so like a young rapper, young dude, real successful in his acting, that show Atlanta, and he had a comedy career. Childish Gambino, right? And so, his albums wasn't really my thing, right? The rap, kind of like the newer, younger stuff, which is cool, right? Just not my style. But he put out his last album. It's like a funk album. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great album.
It's an amazing album, right? So grab that joint, the Childish Gambino, the African brother in front with the glowy crown. Like, it's amazing. It's such a great album. Put me in the mindset of a lot of things, but just a new funk, right?
Yeah.
Type situation. And so seeing stuff like that being produced, especially by young cats, and that's motivating. That's motivating. I really do agree with you that the shift is happening because you can't just listen to garbage all the time.
You can't. And part of the shift, too, is that people want something different. The younger kids want to do something different than their fathers or their uncles. Or they want to be doing something different. And, you and I come from, Chicago, Common, New York, Rakim.
Yeah.
And today, literally, if a child were to open up a Dr. Seuss book, they would be considered the Rakim of the rappers that are rapping today.
For many of them. Absolutely,
So
for many of them.
So there needs to be a change. And at
least more diversity. And that's the thing. You know what I mean? Back in the day, we had bubblegum rappers, too. We had rappers that
they weren't above the
they didn't MCs get props over the real MCs or the ones that had the depth.
Correct.
It was a balance. Like, I could listen to Super Hood, Ghetto Boys, right? That was an absolute ignorant first album,
and
I loved it.
But lyrically and musically, it was incredible.
It was awesome. Oh, the music was tight. The Scarface, plugs from the Scarface movies and stuff like that. But we listened to some garbage too. But it wasn't just garbage. We also had PE.
Correct.
So it wasn't a full diet of garbage.
And
you know what I mean?
each rapper was trying to go to the next level. They weren't copying one another. If you remember, every single MC or group sounded different.
Yeah.
There was only one EPMD.
Yeah.
There was only one Rakim.
Yeah.
There was only one LL Cool J. Now it's like
looking for diversity.
Yeah, these rappers, I don't know their names, but they all sound the same to me.
Many of them. So, and I also think too, I got to be fair, because every now and again, you know, my nephew be like, listen to this. And I'll be like, you know what? That is pretty slick. Or certain, you know, characters I'm not real fond of. I'm not a Drake fan. But every now and then, you'll hit me with something. I'll be like, those lyrics wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Some of it I think is just, when you hit a certain age, whatever the generation after you is doing, you're like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it could be.
The angry, you know what I mean, adults. Some of it, not all of it, you know what I mean? I'm happy with my grade, but some of it, because some of them, they doing their thing.
Right. Like my dad couldn't stand rap. It wasn't his thing, right? But when he heard Rakim, he said, I don't know all the words he's saying, but his flow. He's like, the rhythm that he's
like
doing
his style.
Yeah, I like LL.
Yeah.
He loved Heavy D. He thought but Heavy D was more commercial.
My auntie loved Heavy D.
Because she made people dance.
And he didn't curse. He didn't do a bunch of cursing.
No cursing.
My auntie loved it. Why can't you listen to more Heavy D? I was like, I like him too, but this NWA is off the chain. I know, right? I know we've lost so many great ones. So what advice would you have for some of these, you know, upcoming artists, upcoming performers? I mean, you worked with a lot of musicians, and you've seen a lot of, matter of fact, we're going to take a break before we dive into that, because you've seen a lot of musicians not make it, and you've seen a lot of them make it.
Oh, yeah.
People with talent, but it takes more than talent to succeed in anything, more than talent. So listen to the ones that's making the decisions on hiring the musicians, and apply this not just to being a musician, but to any area of your life, right? What are the little things, the nuances that people are looking for that can ensure you stay successful in what it is you're working on? And so we're going to take another quick break, get with the sponsors, so we can keep the show rocking and rolling, and we'll be right back with Paris Toon. See you in a minute.
But think twice. That's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think you are? Bless your soul. You really think you're in control? Well, I think you're crazy. Since I was little, it looked like fun. If there's no coincidence, I've come, and I can die when I'm done. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. Probably. I packed a few of my belongings, left the life that I was living. Just some memories of it, mostly the ones I can't forget. Whenever you need me, I'll be here. Until then, my dear, I'm going there. Don't ask me to make time, travel back and forth. Let nature take its course.
Emotional? proud of me, huh?
Proud
is
of
that what it is?
That's what it is.
How you doing, everybody? We over here just cracking up. This is HB back with Conversations with HB. And, of course, we are here with my good friend, Paris Toon, in the house with Mother's Favorite Child. So, gave him the question. He's dealt with a lot of musicians, and a lot of those musicians, a lot of them made it. Obviously, you heard, went on to work with some of the most amazing artists. I mean, absolute legends, icons in the music industry. But I'm sure a lot of those musicians didn't make it. He's seen a lot of musicians and different artists and people that work in the industry itself just not get out on top. So, what are some things that you can advise people to avoid? You know what I mean? As they working on their dreams, what's the biggest things that just knock them down?
Being the best in the room. You being the best one on stage or the best one in the studio usually hurts you in the long run. Great for the ego, not good for the growth.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're the best bass player or guitarist on stage, you're the best musician on stage, no different than being the best athlete.
Right.
There's not much room to grow. You have to be the teacher to yourself.
Nobody's pushing you.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things. Of course, too, is attitude. Doing research on your craft and being educated. A lot of kids go back 5 years, and 5 years ago, all we were doing was looping and programming. They're not going back to where jazz originated or blues, and they're not understanding how the music got to where it is today. So those are some of the things that I would say, and then work ethic. Work ethic has suffered based on technology and just entitlement. From what I've seen as far as the difference in age demographic. At 20, 19 years old, hip-hop was new, and we innovated it. I mean, we were selling CDs or vinyl out of trunks and getting people to buy our cassettes and mixtapes. And now it's like people are excited just because they post something on SoundCloud and it hits Facebook and they get someone to like it and they think that they're famous. So those are the kind of things that...
Likes don't pay bills.
Likes don't pay nothing. They don't even pay
more than likes.
They don't even pay your Facebook internet bill. So those are some of the things. It's okay. The same stuff.
Yeah, same stuff for anything.
Yeah.
So work ethic, you know what I mean? Obviously being tight there and being on point, study, know your craft.
Yep.
All right. Work ethic, know your craft, and don't be the best in the room. Not saying don't be amazing. It's just get around other amazing people. Get around people more amazing than you, so that you always got something to grow to, something to develop to, something to push yourself to, without a doubt. Now, I mentioned casually, you're the single dad of 4 kids, 3 daughters, 1 son, and we talk a lot about what's going on in the community. We talk a lot about what it means to be a black man in America, what responsibility we may even have to get out here and give people an outlet and do some different things. As a father, how do you feel the direction of our nation, just where we are? I figured I'd open it up a little bit. I think I was boring you with the music talk.
Yeah, that's a whole different show.
That's a whole different show.
Whole different show. But one of the things that I'm disappointed in is, like my son, he's 17 now. And
he's 17.
17, yeah. And so I don't think he really understands.
Yeah.
Part of it, I think, is because the more successful we get, we try to keep certain things away from our kids.
Right.
And bring them into the big houses in the suburbs, so they don't really get to experience that at a young age.
Yeah.
By the time I was 17, I experienced so much. I knew.
Too much.
And so, sometimes I get nervous that the younger generation doesn't really get it, and I'm starting to see people who should get it kind of start talking and sounding like the other side. Not necessarily my son, but the fact that so many women didn't vote. To see any black woman or black man in the Trump camp bothers me.
Yeah.
I understand finances. I understand about the taxes and owning corporations and all those things. But I can't get past the racism.
Yeah.
It's like
it's kind of hard.
You had me in the tax bracket, but as soon as you started talking that the KKK was backing you,
he gave me $100, but he smacked me in the face with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that delivery is real. I mean, and you make a good point, because I grew up just like you, West Side, and West Side Chicago, crazy neighborhood. and went through all kind of stuff before I was 10, right? Before I was 10. My kids, no idea, no concept, because we're protecting them from that. I don't want them to go through. I barely survived it. So making sure that they understand it. Blackish is a great show that hits on that. You know what I mean? They hit some real stuff. So there's some real things going on out there. We got some great things happening out here. Bottom line is, your life is yours. Your life is yours to do with as you need to. Do with as you get what you want out of this world, not what people are willing to give you. It's about your dream and not being part of somebody else's. Family, thank you for tuning in, for having this conversation with my man, Paris Toon, mother's favorite child. We will be back. Make sure you continue to plug in to all the great shows we have going on. This is Conversations with HB, HomeBase Poetry. Thank you so much. I am HB, and you are the people we're taking care of. Take care.